Boom.
Woohoo! Hello guys, welcome to a new episode of Digital Nomad Talks. Today I have in the show John. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to speak about how to scale up and less is more. Please introduce yourself. Who are you? For how long have you been a nomad? What are you doing? Enlighten our audience.
Hi Nina, first of all, thanks for having me on Digital Nomads Daily. Hello to all digital people who will be watching. So I've been a digital nomad for about 2 years now. Initially I took a big leap and just left my corporate job in Dublin and moved to Lisbon. Had to do a lot of hustle for about 6 months before I started to get some clients, and where I branched into was writing articles for businesses who operate in cryptocurrency and blockchain. About 1 month ago, I moved from Lisbon to here, and since starting out, I've also set up an agency where we provide content strategy services to businesses who operate in cryptocurrency and blockchain.
You already mentioned that you have an agency, right? So maybe you can share with our audience, like, how do you make money?
Yeah, so it's providing writing services. It really depends on the client. Some will be news publications, others will be maybe projects that are launching a service or a product. And what they want to do is they want to get good SEO. So they want to rank well on Google, they want to get their content seen, they want to make their business, they want to make the public aware of their business. And we help with that. We devise content strategy, we devise their marketing plan, and we essentially help them optimize their content to penetrate their market as good as possible. If you're a freelancer who's self-sufficient, that's good enough to start considering scaling up. And when you're at that stage, if you're hanging out with your friends or some other freelancers or digital nomads and they're talking about their 6-figure e-commerce business, don't get attracted or seduced by this, because if you can't leverage up your own skill set to be a 6-figure business, then you don't want to be venturing into someone else's skill domain and trying to build up this business. Once you're self-sufficient as a freelancer, really what you want to do is triple down on your strengths. Make sure you can scale up your business before you start considering going into other vectors.
So when it comes to like scaling up your business and less is more, right? Where to begin?
Yeah, so at the start, when you're setting up a business, really what it requires is a lot of hustle, because you're not really sure what your clients want, what the market wants. So you're trying out a lot of different things. You're thinking, okay, am I going to do B2C content? Am I going to do B2B? But really, as you want to progress your business, for me, when I progressed from being a freelance writer into owning my agency, Adaptive Analysis, it was really about providing more value in what I was doing. It was about doubling, tripling up on the strengths you already have. So at the start, it requires knowing a lot. Being able to manage your social media, being able to manage your invoices, what the clients want. But really then, as you progress, you want to start delegating these lower quality tasks to workers, and you really want to focus on providing as much value as you can in the main service you provide. So for us, that's focusing on writing. It's focusing on how can we produce content that is good in SEO, is good in the actual content that's inside, and also works perfect for the client. In terms of steps for scaling up, really, once you're self-sufficient, then you need to focus on your value proposition. You need to have a sufficient margin in your revenue so you can take a hit if you're considering employing other people. So like, for example, if you're just barely self-sufficient in what you earn, you don't want to be thinking about hiring other people, because imagine 1 month, 2 months down the line, one of your biggest clients cuts off, then your costs are far bigger than what you're earning, and that's not going to be good for your business. As opposed to challenges, it's more about applying patience, because a lot of times what's going to happen is you're going to increase the income that you're making, and then it's going to plateau for a while, and then you're going to increase it again and it's going to plateau, because in that period you need to work on what you're offering. And then you're going to notice a difference down the line because clients are going to recognize, wow, this agency is actually providing more value to me, and you can charge higher rates. So I would say don't jump ahead of yourself, because once you start seeing some success, it's very easy to think, oh, I need a personal assistant, I need to hire a team of writers.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you have sufficient margin in your income that you can afford to scale up. And if you can't, it's no big deal. It's just keep working on what you have until you realize, I can charge a higher rate to clients. I'm providing more value now, so I know what I can charge.
How did you learn about that? So it's also more to like other people that are like, I understand what you're saying, but then when you have to like apply that, people might still get lost because they don't know when it's like the right time or how to go about that.
So how I learned about it initially, and one of the great things of being location independent, is you can go to a place where there's lots of business people and lots of different people doing cool things. Like here, where it's like the digital nomad capital of the world.
Yeah.
So I learned about it by someone who's in a similar business to myself, and I was saying, like, how do you know how to execute that, and when it's time to do that? And he told me about the margin. He was saying, make sure you have the margin that you can take a hit to your revenue down the line. And in terms of what that margin is, there's no specific answer, because you know your business and your clients yourself better than anyone else will. So you need to know, how exposed am I to this one client, or how exposed am I to this one client? Like if 50% of your revenue is coming from one client, you're pretty exposed to that client. So you need to think of a future of, okay, what if this client's business goes bankrupt? Hopefully not. Or he just doesn't need the services anymore, or he pivots and tries out a new business model.
Yes.
You know how exposed you are, and you should know the time that's ready to scale up. In terms of steps outside of business as well, personally what works for me is having like almost a very minimalistic attitude towards things, having like a focus outside of work as well, where I'm not venturing into too many things. Like I'm not getting too concerned about loads of people's different businesses, or I'm not too concerned about going to every single event in the city that I can, because when I first started being an entrepreneur, I was like thinking, I need to go to every event every evening.
Everything,
yeah. But now I know the value that I'm providing, and I know the people that I need to hang out with to increase my value proposition, and I also know what I don't need to do. So
most of the people that are coming on the show, they're so aware of what they do, who they hang out with.
I think it's the most important thing.
It's nice to hear that confirmation of like, yes, like self-awareness is like key.
Yeah, at the start you're essentially, I think it's with everybody, you're a bit all over the place. You're like, what do I do? Who do I hang out with? And then you're hearing different people tell you different things. Really, you know yourself better. You know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. So take into account what other people say, but don't let it like fluster you and be like, oh, I need to do this now, or I need to jump into this business. Because it's better for you to focus on what you know.
So one of the challenges I think as a nomad, and especially nomad entrepreneur, is playtime. I deal with it myself, is that sometimes I don't know when to play, how to play. How is that for you as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, it's so easy at the start when you're setting up to just work all the time, and everybody around you seems to be working all the time as well. But over the last, I would say 6 months, I've completely changed my outlook on it. The way I look at it now is if I have to work 24/7, I'm not doing something right. There's something I could be doing where I don't have to work that much. And I've noticed a difference since I've started limiting my hours. Like let's say I'm in the co-work and I'm writing an article, I could easily just be taking it easy, have Twitter open in one tab and be doing the article until 9 p.m. in the evening and go home and be like, oh, I worked so hard. But now if you like set yourself a deadline and just get it done, it's so much more effective because you're pushing yourself to do it. And then outside, for me, staying active is like a big part.
You mean like physically?
Yeah, physically. Like since I've came here, I've started trying acro yoga, which is awesome. But I've always like been hitting the gym. Like if I can get out at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. and go for a dinner with some good friends, I find it recharges my batteries and I'm way more productive the next day. Oof, that is a good question. I'm failing all the time, because if you're not failing, you're not really doing it right, because
Sure.
you always need to be pushing your comfort zone, doing new things. When I moved out to Lisbon for the first 6 months, as I said, like at the start, you need to hustle and try loads of new things. And I think I tried to set up like 2 companies with one of my best friends at the time, and it just it just didn't work out.
How do you deal with it as a nomad?
Wow, yeah, that's another good question. There's no running away from it. There's having your own business in this way, where you're away from home. It's going to be full of ups and downs. There's going to be times where you're like, yes, I'm killing it. I'm so excited. I'm doing things I'm super interested in. And then there's going to be other times where you're thinking, oh, I just lost a client, and what am I doing here? And I'm away from my family. I'm away from my home country. But you learn to deal with it. You assess the upsides and the downsides, and you make a decision if this is the life you want to live or not. Nomad has a huge opportunity cost. A lot of people might not think it's that big of a deal, but for me, it's being away from your family and your home country. Like, you actually miss out on a lot by not being there. You miss out on developing like long life relationships with the people you grew up with. You miss out on seeing your grandparents and your parents through some of their best years, and there's no getting away from that.
Alright guys, we're almost at the end of this episode, so that also means that there's a question for me. I don't know what you're gonna ask. I'm a little bit nervous, so
okay, Nina, I've thought really, really hard about this one, and I have a really serious question for you. What is your secret superpower?
Oh wow, I love that question. I think my secret superpower is connecting people and creating value out of their stories. I love bringing people together, talking with people, and sort of like find out what their secret power is or what their spark is, and sort of like translate that into something like Digital Nomads Daily or food experiences or...
Okay, that's awesome. So you're saying you're not Spider-Woman?
I'm not Spider-Woman.
Damn it, I thought you were.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know I gave like all these signals, but no, that's
yeah, I was
not
just
it.
getting all the hints.
John, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
I think that everything that you said was very valuable. Guys, if you want to find out more about Digital Nomads Daily, visit our website. We have so many more episodes already recorded and also coming up about how to make this lifestyle a bit more sustainable. If you want to get in touch with John, the links are here below, somewhere here.
Say a few things first. People, buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a revolutionary technology. If you want to connect with me, my name is John Quigley on LinkedIn. The name of my agency is Adaptive Analysis, and you can subscribe to my newsletter, adaptiveanalysis.substack.com, to get the latest analysis and research in the crypto world to your inbox.
I will subscribe. I want to learn about it.
Oh, boom.
Woohoo! All right, guys, see you next week for a new episode, and have a good day.